On this edition of Idle Game Chat, Abs is joined by Adkins as they look back on 2017.
2017, some people are saying it's the greatest year in video game history. What do you think of that statement?
Fucking load of bollocks. It was all trash. No, it could very well be. Yeah, I think as a whole, there's been some good years.
Yeah.
Where a lot of good games come out, but collectively, I think in sheer numbers, this could be this could be the best. It's certainly up there.
They discuss the biggest news stories of the past year.
Yeah, so I mean they've been lurking.
Yeah.
They've been there for years, but this year it seemed to have tipped media, fans, gamers over the edge, and the one that really did it was Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Yeah. The fans found a voice, didn't they?
Yeah.
And finally reveal Game of the Year.
I think we can agree between the three of them, if you've got one of those three as your top,
Any of them,
you're not doing much wrong.
No, three absolute stellar games. And to get them all in 1 year, impressive.
All that and much, much more on Idle Game Chat.
Hello and welcome back to Idle Game Chat here at Dimp Digital. You've got myself Apps alongside Tom Adkins, not Adcock. How you doing?
Top of the world, mate.
Superb. Well, you will be after your big fat gaming quiz of the year win.
Oh, yeah.
Coming off the high of that, did you go on a bender of drugs, booze and women?
I haven't stopped, to be honest.
Oh,
I am the Tony Montana of the Dimp.
This might be a bit ropey then, depending on how intoxicated you are. But you may have heard there, this is the soft return for Idle Game Chat. So previously that was our weekly podcast that we did, and then got canned because we couldn't be bothered to do it every week. But we're planning to do these now once a month and catch up on the gaming news from the previous sort of 4 weeks or calendar month. No guarantees that we'll stick to doing that, but that is what we're aiming for here. This is obviously the first one of 2018, and I always like to look back on the previous year, in this case 2017, kind of dissect what sort of a year it was, and then finally get to the Game of the Year awards from the Dimp Digital team. So, Adkins, 2017, some people are saying it's the greatest year in video game history. What do you think of that statement?
Fucking load of bollocks. It was all trash. No, it could very well be. Yeah, I think as a whole, there's been some good years.
Yeah.
Where a lot of good games come out, but collectively, I think in sheer numbers, this could be this could be the best. It's certainly up there.
Yeah, I think it's bloody close. I mean, in my mind, sort of looking well back, 98 is perhaps the obvious rival because you had the likes of Metal Gear Solid, Half-Life, Ocarina of Time all dropping that year. Sort of.
Cool.
I mean, you could argue they're three kind of watershed games for the industry, but these days you can't really capture that sort of watershed moment too often. You might say something like PUBG has done that this year. It's been an absolute phenomenon in introducing or just making the Battle Royale mode popular. But the quality and the quantity of games that arrived in 2017 was just phenomenal. It felt like there was something for everyone as well. So
definitely, you think of the big hitters, your Zeldas and that, and you're like, oh god, it was a good year. And then you don't even remember when we had the first couple of months that introduced the Japanese games.
Yeah. I mean, it's sickening, really. I mean,
Yeah.
JRPGs, for example, you had Persona 5 and Xenoblade Chronicles 2. If you wanted to play a Western or an old classic turn-based RPG, you had Divinity Original Sin 2 arriving on PC. Fighting games, Injustice 2.
Yeah, Tekken 7.
Tekken 7. You could maybe say Marvel v Capcom Infinite, but a lot of people might say don't bother with that. Indie games, SteamWorld Dig 2. What Remains of Edith Finch, Cuphead, that's just 3 out of the many there. Resident Evil returning to form with Resident Evil 7.
Yeah.
You mentioned Japan, they had a strong showing.
Yeah.
Nier Automata, Neo, Yakuza 0, which arrived in the West. Bethesda dropping critically acclaimed titles such as Prey, Wolfenstein 2. We mentioned Zelda, we mentioned Mario, Nintendo going and getting some of the highest scores that we've seen for years in the shape of Breath of the Wild and Super Mario Odyssey. Then they even go off and team up with Ubisoft to give us Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle. Sony introduces a new IP with Horizon Zero Dawn, incredibly well received, and pumping out an Uncharted Lost Legacy spin-off. We even got a good Sonic game in Sonic Mania. If all the Sonic Forces is shit, we think. We've not played it, but it looks like...
I played it last night. I played the demo.
God.
It's lengthy as hell. Do you know how long it is?
No.
59 seconds you get.
What, in a demo?
A demo, that is literally all you get. You get 59 seconds and it kicks you off.
Good, that's not even worth downloading, is it? Avoid that one if you can, guys. But yeah, Sonic Mania, good one.
Yeah.
And that's not mentioning things like the return of Assassin's Creed, Ghost Recon in the form of Wildlands, which wasn't, overly critically, acclaimed, but is very popular. Destiny 2, Splatoon 2.
No,
and
you've convinced me. It is. I think it might be the number one.
Should we just say it? That's without saying PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds as well, which is
and Xenoblade, which done all right. I think. Xenoblade
done fine for
top year, right?
Exactly. And final thing, 2 pieces of hardware: Nintendo Switch and Xbox One X.
Yeah.
Should we just say it's the best year?
Yeah.
Should we say it now?
1,000,000% done, cemented. The greatest year
ever in video games. 2017 done, locked into the Dimp vault with no one else being able to query it now. But all joking aside, I think it's very good. So it's certainly the best year that we've had since Dimp Digital has been alive. That was back in 2014. This is just completely blown any other year away, and I'll go and hang my hat on saying it's the best. So 2017.
So now a disgusting figure.
Go on.
I spent £1,467 just on that software and hardware.
That's all right. So that was the Switch and the Xbox One X.
Yeah, that's two consoles and an abundance of games. A new record, I think, that is set by me, and it's only going to increase.
Yeah. One of the bad things with 2017 is it's left a sickening backlog or virtual backlog for us to get through. But I can't complain because it's better to have all these games than not have the games. So yeah. Definitely a fantastic year. Some of the big news stories, maybe we can dive deeper into those. I think starting with the Switch is a great thing because we've both got a Switch. I've certainly been using it a lot more as of late. They've sold very well. 10 million they've passed. That's a milestone. I think it was the US's best-selling console of all time. I was saying. I think I saw in the news.
It's just breaking milestones each and every month, isn't it?
Got to slow down, hasn't it?
Well, it's only getting bigger, baby.
Yeah. What do you think of the Switch as a whole? Then we've had it almost. We've had it 9 months now. It's come up to the year in March. Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course it is, isn't it? Yeah. It's a brilliant piece of kit. Absolutely phenomenal for what it is. People question the specs, saying it's not as good as my Xbox. Don't matter. It's portable, mate. I can take it where I want. I'll lose it. I'll shit myself. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. It has many faults, but I think the goods outweigh the bads, and it's a worthy purchase for any gamer. Just in my personal though, as it's been such a fucking good year for gaming, unfortunately I didn't give it as much love as I wish I had. I had Spikes. I sort of had about a month of it where I was really into it, and that's all I played. And then it got put on the side for a couple of months, and then I'll pick it back up again. I sort of go in waves.
yeah, it's easy to do though, because you can just pick it up and grab it and go wherever. It's just nice to have. I think they're obviously onto something. It's selling. It's going to, destroy the Wii U sales quite soon. It'll beat that in. I reckon it might even beat that in amongst sort of the year anniversary, which would be bizarre considering that was out for 5 years or so. We're getting things like Bayonetta 2 coming to the Switch in 2018. So some of those games that a lot of us missed on the Wii U, we're hopefully going to get access to. But a bloody good bit of kit and something that I'm so glad to have, because it's not just a Nintendo console. The indie scene on there is just bubbling and thriving away. There's so much good stuff on the e-store that you can download for 10, 15, 20 pound from all the indie games. So it's just becoming my go-to machine for anything like that. It's just like, what's this new title on? Is it on Switch? Yes, get it on Switch then. Yeah,
it's perfect for that. Games like what was it? Ukulele. Like, normally before I'd think, what's it look best on? Now I don't care. It feels like a Switch game. It's getting played on that Switch.
It's on how it's kind of carved this market out in my own sort of library, saying if it's this type of game, it goes on the Switch. Superb. Xbox One X, something that we haven't actually really talked about.
No.
We've both got one. I think we're the only. Oh no, Hall's got one as well.
And Biff.
And Biff. Oh Christ, yeah. So there is actually
all the bastards.
All the bastards that have got it. We do have 4K TVs to play this on with HDR. What's your opinion of the Xbox One X now that you've had it in your hands for a couple of months or so?
Very much like the Nintendo Switch. I think it's a good bit of kit, but I haven't given it enough love again. I've only really played 2 games on it that are Xbox enhanced.
Okay.
Which are Forza and Shadow of War. Which again I'm very impressed with. At first, sort of you get that sort of wow factor when you first start playing it. The only thing with this 4K though, and I think it's a much like it became like this with 3Ds. It's sort of you get that wow feature, and then within about 20 minutes, half hour, you sort of forget and you just carry on as normal.
It is that. It is. You just totally become desensitized to it. And unless you've got it side by side constantly, it just becomes the norm. In which case, the specialness of it kind of evaporates. And it really, I mean, we reeled off all those games earlier, and that was just like probably not even a quarter of what was released that was considered good. Not a lot of Xbox only stuff on there.
No, that's the trouble.
So they've just not got the software lineup to make me want to. I mean, third party stuff I've been getting on it. Wolfenstein 2 I'm playing through at the moment. Evil Within 2 I started. And playing through that, or both on Xbox. But I look ahead at 2018 a little bit, and I see what Sony have potentially got lined up, and I think, when's that getting played now? The Xbox One X.
Yeah, that's the thing. The PlayStation have been dropping bombs. This, especially the last sort of few conferences. What was it? What's his name? Old Big Phil Spencer, is it?
Yeah.
He said about he doesn't like dropping games early. And then having the big wait, which seems to be quite like a sort of bit of a running thing with PlayStation games. Like they sort of announce them nice and early, and then you've got the hype. So hopefully in the next couple of conferences we might get some announcements and get some good games out. But it's not looking good on their front. What with a few cancellations this year and not really much in the line.
No, I remember there was a specific interview where he said, I feel like we need to focus on some more first-party lineup, which is great to hear, but that's not something you can just flip the switch on and then next year games arrive. Some of these games take 3, 4, 5 years to develop, so it's something that we might not reap the benefits of if they do make a strategic push into getting more first-party, or even just paying second-party people like Sony have done with Insomniac and Spider-Man. Getting those sort of people on board just for doing the odd game. It might be a while before we start seeing that, but It's good to have. I mean, we're now at the end of both the sort of mainline consoles in PlayStation and Xbox have released their sort of refresh, if you want to call it that, with the PlayStation Pro and Xbox One X. The Switch may do some small upgrades. I think it'll be storage mainly, because the 32 gig on the Switch is just diabolical.
Yeah.
But what do you think of these mid-generation upgrades? Because it's the first time we've kind of had anything really significant happen.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's almost like a sort of phone, isn't it? You know, you get like these phones and then they have like a mini upgraded version the year after. So it's weird that they're going down that sort of line. Yeah, I think they're good, but they're fucking hemorrhaging my wallet, which is a pain because I tried to live without it. I saw when you and Hall got your Xboxes, it was killing me knowing I didn't get it on day one. And I really couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
So I was like, what? I don't need it really. I really don't need this. I was struggling with my 500 gigabyte Xbox.
Yeah.
That absolute monstrosity sitting there under my telly with this fucking power pack hanging out.
Yeah.
So
hanging out, isn't it?
it was disgusting thing. So I'm glad I got rid of that. So I did need an upgrade, but yeah, I hope it in the long run. I'm happy with it. But yeah, there's a small concern.
my major concern is that we've both forked out for another, console. The Xbox One X wasn't cheap, 450 UK pounds, £100 more than what the Pro was. Obviously, a lot more powerful. My concern is that we get to sometime this year and then we start hearing PlayStation 5's out next year.
Yeah, I thought this.
Into 2019, PlayStation 5. Xbox 2, whatever they want to call it.
To have invested in something of an upgrade and then have it not taken away, become not irrelevant but slowly be phased out almost just a few years later is a concern of mine.
That would be. I wouldn't like that as well. No, I agree with you on there. I couldn't afford to do it.
No, well, I would, but I wouldn't be. It'd be some strong conversations in the finances being had in this household. I couldn't live without it, but it does concern me. I'm hoping that these upgrades are to prolong the generation, as in give them a couple of extra years. But they keep saying they're underpowered.
What was the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360? Was that about 6 years? Was it?
They were actually. Let's look it up now live. But they were very long from my view, especially because the Xbox was out probably about a year or so before. But I remember that arriving. For some reason I've got 2006 in my brain.
Yeah, that's the year I got in my head.
Yeah, so let's have a look. Oh no, the release date 2005.
Cool.
And the new consoles come out 2013. So they lasted a ruddy long time. Well, the Xbox 360 did anyway.
Yeah.
My sense is that we won't get them that long again.
Yeah.
But who knows? Who knows? But that was a long one. That was a long one, and but a lot of people say we're sort of in the last quarter of these consoles, and the refresh though, my brain has kind of reset things into thinking, oh, it's sort of the start again, but it's not. They've been out since 2013.
It's concerning, isn't it? Yeah. I don't want that, to be honest. I did. Well, I think I made a comment in one of these earlier ones when we first started doing Dimp, where I said, if consoles start becoming like PCs where they're just upgraded every year, this could be the death of it for me. Yeah. And it seems like it's going to be going that way. Because I'm sitting there thinking, if they do bring out another PlayStation, another Xbox, what are they going to do? Yeah. I think high-end PCs are struggling to hit 4K 60.
Yeah.
And that's the high. So it's going to be difficult.
They really need to focus on getting stuff up to 60. Rather than that's my view of it. Get the consoles running at 60 where possible. If the PC can run it on 60, try and get the console version running at 60. But it's not. It's become, let's chase the 4K dragon. Let's checkerboard it. do what we can. Dynamic resolution, as it's called now. Not a lot of native shipping at the
No,
moment.
yeah, that's the other thing that could be. It'll just be all this true bollocks, won't it? True 4K, true 4K.
We said that last time.
Yeah, that's it. So it's going to be a pain if it does go that way. But hopefully I'd be happy with another 2 years.
So you're saying 2020?
2020, I'll be happy. If they say we're going to bring out the next ones in 2020, I think I've got a year and a bit, 2 years and a bit I've had. That's okay. I can deal with that. Yeah.
I think I think the rumours will start dropping at some point this year, but I'm hoping for 2020 as well. Switch and Xbox One X.
Yep.
They were the two sort of hardware releases in 2017 amongst the stream of games we had.
Yeah.
Another big thing, not quite as positive as perhaps the new hardware release was it's not even a new thing, but the spotlight on microtransactions.
Yeah.
In particular, loot boxes.
Do you know what I thought you were just about to now? We were talking about the fucking when they're like a new 3DS or a 2DS.
Oh yeah, the new 2DS. I actually thought about getting one of those because the library of games you can get on the virtual console and the games on there. I think this will be the year it dies, 2018. But what a fucking running that's had. That's had a good old life that has. But no, sorry, you were saying microtransactions. Yes. So I mean, they've been lurking.
Yeah,
it's been there for years, but this year it seemed to have tipped media, fans, gamers over the edge. And the one that really did it was Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Yeah, the fans found a voice, didn't they?
Yeah, managing to actually change their whole sort of financial plan on it.
Yeah,
and I don't think they've put it back in yet, have they? They said they were going to temporarily remove them, but a lot of people are suggesting it's going to stay off, which is a good thing. Trouble is, they've bollocks the whole progression system up in a way that makes it still a bit more difficult than it needs to be without the loot boxes. But what are we doing with this?
It's stupid, isn't it? It's fucking ridiculous that they've tried to even think about doing this as not even as just like a cosmetic thing. People would have forgot about it if it was just that. But to integrate it to like the main game progression system is fucking ludicrous. To expect people, like, you know, they say it's there if you need it, but it's not, is it? No, that's right. It's fucking ridiculous. And I'm glad that there was a big backlash. It's a shame that it was a game that I was quite hyped to play. I enjoyed the first one. It didn't get enough love from me again. It's not really typically my type of game, but I do get excited about it because it's Star Wars. And we're big Star Wars fans. Yeah. But yeah, this whole scandal and that really put me off the game, and it was enough for me to not purchase it this year. But that certainly was. Then we had the integration of games like Creed and Shadow of War. So with the single player fight games, I haven't found issues as of yet.
You've played both of those, haven't you? I've only played Shadow of War, but you've played Creed as well.
Creed as well, yeah. I'm trying to think, because remember there was some loot boxes in Gears, wasn't there? Not the single player stuff.
I think this is the thing. Like they have been there in so many games.
Did COD had them for a long time ago?
They've been there. Yeah, they've been there, and one that made me laugh was there was an article that came out towards the back end of last year saying, EA's new UFC games got loot boxes, and I was like, it was there in number 2. It was sitting there. They had Ultimate. What is it? Ultimate. It's not Ultimate Fight.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, Ultimate Fight. Yeah, something like that, isn't it?
Yeah, but essentially, it's the Ultimate Team from FIFA being lifted out.
Yeah, that's always been there.
Yeah, that's been there since 2, but now people are like, oh my god, how can they be adding this? And I was like, it's been there for a couple of years. No one was making a fuss of it. But as much as we're kind of taking the piss out of them, it's good that they are making a fuss, because now everyone that has microtransactions in them, they're going to be under the spotlight big time. Yeah, definitely. It's a good thing.
I feel like it's came on since there was a bit of a backlash the last couple of years about season passes.
Yep.
A few big companies sort of came out and said that they won't be doing season passes. I think was EA one of them. I think they said.
Yeah, they said for Battlefront 2 they won't be doing it.
There'll be no season pass.
There'll be a campaign, no season pass. And I was like, yes, everything will be free DLC. I was like, yeah, but the progression's tied to loot boxes. There was a catch.
Yeah, that's it, and that's what it does feel like, doesn't it? It feels like a catch because they've given this shit.
Yeah, I'm going back this far. They're in Metal Gear Solid 5.
Oh yeah,
base building. You can
reduce.
I mean, how's that got through the net?
What was that? 2016, 15 was it?
It might have been 15 now. Yeah.
Sure. I mean, slips under the radar. Kojima gets away with it.
Unbelievable. Yeah, that does annoy me when it's a little bit like people. Certain games get away with it, others don't. Overwatch is like, it's away with it. I suppose it's only cosmetic. There are differences, but it's been going on a while, and it's about time people cottoned onto it, and they have.
Yeah. And it was a big thing this year, wasn't it? Like you say, the media got hold of it and fucking ran with it.
Yeah. But hopefully it'll end up in positive changes for us. EA aren't going to go bankrupt over this, so
no, that's the good thing, that it was a big company like them and not sort of a backlash of a poor little indie game that was coming out or something.
No.
But yeah, hopefully a lot of companies have sort of reworked their games if they did have it coming out.
Yeah.
So hopefully it's a positive thing for the gaming industry, but I wouldn't be so sure to say it's the death of it.
No, it's still going to be there. It's still going to be there. It's whether they want the negative publicity that's going to come with it now. I feel like every game's going to get put under the microscope and say, right, what have you got in there? Right, this is how it works, good, bad, or indifferent, and which is a good thing as consumers. You want to know that. You don't want to buy a game for 40 UK pounds, get it home, and then it goes, well, you could make this quicker if you bought all this, and the game pretty much needs it. So a bit of a... like I said, it's not even like it's a bad thing that's just surface. It's just that finally it's bubbled to the surface where everyone's talking about it. So it's been there long enough, and it's time that this started to happen. Final kind of big news story, and it is a game in itself. It's got to be PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds.
Yeah, cool.
And how's that getting that sort of...
Absolute insane. It really, to begin, like beginning of the year when I was heard about it, it was in its early access stage, and people were saying, "Oh, it's the new DayZ," everyone's jumping on it, and I never, they are very PC games, aren't they? They're very that armor mods, DayZ, all that. I've looked at it and I thought, it looks cool, but it's not really my type of game. So it slipped under the radar for me, but I thought it would be there for a couple of days and then it would disappear. But it fucking blew up like wildfire.
Yeah.
It took over Twitch. It was like the most streamed game. It took over Steam. It was the most played game. And that was in, I think, was it February or March it came out, I think? And throughout the year, it's just consistently, the concurrent players just keep increasing.
Yeah.
And we've just had another milestone where it's now up to about 3 million concurrent players.
Yeah, that was insane.
Is ridiculous. But like I say, it really wasn't the type of game I thought I'd enjoy. And then me and you got hands on with it, and you can see why it's the game. You can see why it's so approachable from a sort of avid gamer. You don't have to be the elite PC master race to enjoy this.
No.
It does lend itself well to the console gamers, even though it does run like absolute dog shit, and it's not really been built for the consoles. But it's one of those games that you can still have fun with. It's a simple idea, but it's so effective with what it does.
Yeah, it really has been a phenomenon. I think I played it for about 40 minutes until we played it late last year, and I think we was on it for 3 hours or
4. I think
it might have been 4 hours. And that was not planned. I thought I'll jump on for a couple of rounds, but we were there for hours on end, and I was like, well, now I kind of get it now. it is like you said, it's such a simple idea, but it lends itself to so many different markets. The streamer market, they love it. It's always any YouTuber or any streamer I follow. It's always like, well, it's streaming PUBG tonight. I'm like, right, surprise. And you think people will get sick of it, but they're not.
Yeah,
It's just constantly number one, and it's created its own sort of subgenre, which is now Battle Royale. We've seen Fortnite introduce it to their game, and that's out for free on the console. So that's going to be trying to take a chunk.
There's a new one, isn't there? Paladins, is it? I know it's been around for a little while, but that's just introduced a new, and even called it Battlegrounds as well, controversially.
Well, I'll get away with that, but yeah, it's. I think we'll see a lot of games that have a form of multiplayer try and tack a similar version of this mode on.
The new zombies?
Yeah, well, it will be, won't it? It will get to that stage in 2 years. We'll be like, oh, not a Battle Royale game.
Do you think it could lend itself as an e-sport?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I think definitely. I think at the moment, I still maintain this, even with that playtime, I still maintain that it's not... It's still rough.
It is, isn't it? Yeah. And I think that is a little bit of its charm. But it is fucking rough as dog shit. It's jerky as hell.
Yeah.
Even on the master race, you're not getting a consistent frame rate. It's playable enough, and you can get good, but it's going to drop at sometimes, and you're going to get weird glitches and bugs and stuff. But yeah, certainly not the prettiest game we've ever played.
No, and things like sometimes it feels like you shoot someone, it doesn't always register the.
Yeah.
I'm not convinced by the mechanics behind that, and even there was a patch that had come out recently addressing specifically long range firing, making sure it's registering properly. And I've seen stuff on the YouTube clips people put together of them like shotgunning someone in the face and they've taken no damage. There's bits like that do happen that they need to kind of iron out, but for sales wise, it doesn't seem to have mattered. So they are swimming in money.
Yeah, it took the world by storm, didn't it? And that is one of the biggest things to come out of 2017, isn't it? When they think of it as the year of gaming.
Yeah.
It's the first ever early access game that was nominated for a Game of the Year award as well, controversially.
Yeah.
So
Jeff Keighley's the Game Awards, yeah.
Yeah, that was controversial, and so yeah.
I think when it first started surfacing, there was... For some reason, and I think a lot of people thought this, they thought it was just developed by one person, i.e. Brendan Green, Player Unknown. Like it was just a one-man team.
Right.
It wasn't until I kind of realised, like a couple of months after it had been released, I think it started, like you said, March time.
Yeah.
It's probably like maybe April or May when I realised that actually there's a studio that are developing it, and he's like the lead designer on it. And I think to begin with, people latched on to that idea and was like, "Oh, this is all by one person. Look how amazing this is." Doesn't matter because the game's taken off and it is enjoyable. But it's strange how that kind of story was out there, and there were even like professional outlets that didn't know whether it was just one person or not.
Yeah, that is peculiar. What was his main thing before? Was it that H1Z1 thing?
Yeah, so I watched, and if you've never watched or gone onto this YouTube channel, No Clip, which is Danny O'Dwyer's YouTube channel, does gaming documentaries and interviews with developers. I watched through his profile of Brendan Green.
Yeah.
And yeah, he started off just being previously creating Arma 2 mods and looking and trying to create mods for DayZ as well, or DayZ,
DayZ.
like battle royale modes for that. And he tried to sort of get it off the ground then, and had a few different kind of servers running, and it got quite popular, and it wasn't all that reliable or whatever. And then I think he went to as a consultant, he went over to H1Z1 to help them with their mode, and just was consulting on that. Then got headhunted by the I think it's Blue Point. Oh, not Blue Point, are they? It's actually called the PUBG Corporation now.
Oh, right, yeah.
But yeah, he got headhunted by that studio, and that was it.
Yeah.
He was away making this, and then it comes into early access and absolutely just blows up completely. It becomes that I can't imagine a game that's sold more other than a mobile game this year.
Yeah.
I can't see how anything's got near that.
No, it's incredible, isn't it? What a journey from the young PUBG boys.
Yeah, absolutely stunning. Well, I think that'll do for 2017.
Yeah, what a year.
Best year ever, new hardware, microtransactions getting dug out of their little shitty area they've been hiding in, and PUBG just completely coming out of nowhere and taking over the world. We cannot leave 2017 without going through our Dimp Digital Game of the Year awards. So there's a few categories that we've got. Adkins and I are going to go through our personal picks, what we chose, and then we will reveal collectively as a group who has won each of the awards. So we've got a Game of the Year, which consists of 3. So you've got a gold, silver, and a bronze, or a first, second, and third that we'll have for that. We've then got most disappointing game, which is not necessarily a bad game, but one that you were perhaps hyped for and then didn't deliver on what you was hoping for. We've then got the wooden spoon, which is the shitter, the one that you people didn't like. The one that got away, so the game that you wanted to play that was released in 2017 but didn't get time to. Biggest surprise, so perhaps a low-key game or a game you wasn't expecting much of and then delivered highly on those. And then a new category called the best game not released this year caused unbelievable confusion amongst the group. I had people saying The Last of Us 2. I had people saying Red Dead Redemption. And I was like, no, the best game from last year, even the year before that. So something that you've played that's an old game is what I was trying to get at. So that's what each of the categories are. Let's start at the bottom then. So the best game not released this year for you, Mr. Adkins, was...
The best game that I played wasn't released last year. It was right at the beginning of the year. I had the anticipation of the Switch coming out.
Yeah.
I knew what its launch title was going to be, and it was a game I was so hyped for that I needed to play older iterations of it. So my game was Zelda. The Legend of Zelda, Twilight Princess.
Excellent. So, was that the first one that you played from the back, from the old lot? 'Cause you tried to play at least a couple.
Yes.
You mentioned this. So was that
yeah, that was the first one. I already owned that one, so I bought that on launch with the Nintendo Wii.
I've never played it.
No. I only played about an hour of it. I don't know why. I think it must have came. No, it didn't come. I think I just bought it.
Yeah.
But I never really got into it at first. And then, with this coming out, I had Ocarina of Time. I think I completed that on the N64. So that was my first introduction into Zelda. I never played any on the SNES or anything. So when I knew this was coming out, I had that. Then I bought a 3DS off my mate and bought Ocarina of Time 3D.
Yeah.
And then once I'd completed Twilight Princess, I also bought Skyward Sword.
Yeah.
And my intention was to complete that, but I didn't get enough time, and the Switch had come out, and it's got lost in the backlog now. Might not even ever get played.
Never to return.
No, that's right. But no, I started Twilight Princess, and I think I finished it within 2 weeks. I think I smashed it out. I just wanted to get it done and dusted and cemented under, just so I knew what I was going to try and expect. I had a sort of idea of what this new Breath of the Wild game was going to be like. But I think Twilight Princess is a phenomenal game. If they were to remake it, they already have. They've done a HD upgrade for the Wii U. Yeah. So if they port that over to the Switch, that would be excellent. But I would recommend that to anyone if they have a Wii or Wii U. Twilight Princess, get it played. One of the darker Zelda games of the franchise. Have you ever played it?
No. I mean, my only experience before this year with Zelda was kind of watching or seeing bits and pieces amongst all of them, and then I played probably 2, maybe 3 years ago, Ocarina of Time on the 3DS.
Yeah.
So that was the only other one I'd played. I thought if I'm going to play one of them, I'd best play that.
Yeah.
but yeah, I've not played Twilight Princess. Didn't really have a Wii to play it on. Didn't have a Wii U. So yeah, didn't get picked up. How was the motion controls for Twilight? 'Cause I know you
Right, yeah, that was
really do not like those.
No, I hated them on the Wii. Yeah, I really, about 10 hours in, I was like, right, I really want to buy a Pro controller for the Wii, but I was like, I'm not going to play it. And it was about 30 quid, because they're quite old and they seem to be quite rare to get hold of. One of the official ones anyway. And I thought, do I really want to spend that much on a Pro controller for the Wii that I'm never going to use? So I gritted my teeth and I finished it. But yeah, it wasn't that great really. I get it's better than that Skyward Sword. With that Skyward Sword, you're literally chopping the Wii remote as pretending it to be a sword, whereas basically you just use the other one for a sort of camera. And just I didn't like the Wii controls. They were a fun gimmick, but for playing a sort of proper game, not a mini game with your nan and your mum thing, I really didn't really get on with it. So yeah, that was a big gripe. That's why I think it would lend itself to the Switch a lot better than on them stupid Wii controls. But yeah, no, you know me well. I'm not a fan of motion controls.
Well, there you go. Zelda Twilight Princess gets Adkins' best game not released this year for his personal pick.
What we're going to do this, I was going to say, we stand with you and
I will. Yes, I think we'll swap back and forth between us, and then we'll do each of the awards going up. So my personal pick was, and I changed this not late, but I should change my mind. It was Overwatch.
Boom.
So how many of us got that? 6, 7 of us got that probably. Early in the year, and we spent a good 6, maybe even longer weeks. It seemed like playing that every couple of nights or whatever, and yeah, that's what I wanted out of the first run of Overwatch. I'd previously had it on the Xbox when it had released or shortly afterwards, and it was only 3 of us playing it, and I didn't really get on with it. Then a group was surfacing for the PlayStation 4. It was going to be a 6-man team, and I thought, let's get involved, let's give it a shot, and really, really enjoyed those weeks, and would happily go back and do the placements for each of the seasons, just to play in that, because it's one of the. I'm not a big fan of competitive multiplayer games, but that one really it offers something different and offers some really unique play styles depending on what character you pick. Yeah.
No, I have to agree with you there. Similar thoughts yourself. Yeah, I bought mine on not day one, but I think the first week I bought it on PC, and it was just me and my mate, Master Race.
Yeah.
Played it for a little while. It sort of died down because I'm like you. I'm not a competitive online player.
Yes.
So yeah, I was just playing with me and my mate, so I didn't really get a lot of love. And then, like you say, that group spurred, and it became fun again. There was like a big group of it. It's so much better when you play in a group.
Yeah.
And you can control it. And if you did an award for like the most updated game, I'd give it the award for that as well.
Yeah.
They put a lot of love into that, Blizzard. It's a great game.
Yeah, superb, and they're continually updating it, so it might even appear on next year's or this year's awards, because if it's still going strong, it could well do that. Biggest surprise, Mr. Adkins. So this is always one that I find interesting.
Yeah.
What was your biggest surprise for 2017?
So my pick for biggest surprise was SteamWorld Dig 2.
Yeah.
Boom. Another one that sort of, it came out and blew up all of a sudden. I think I might have seen it coming up. I'd read a couple of things and watched a few videos. I never played the first one, so I didn't really know much about it. But what struck my interest is I'm a massive fan of Hotline Miami.
Right, yeah.
So it's another indie game by Devolver, but this is not Devolver, but an indie game by Devolver, and it was the soundtrack that I thought that game was so good. Mm-hmm. And I found out that this SteamWorld Dig 2 that was coming out had the same composer, the bloke that wrote music.
And that was the only thing?
That was the only thing that sort of linked me. And then I heard played the trailer, and I had the song in my head for about a month. I couldn't get it out, and I really liked it. So that's what hooked me to it. And then I sort of started to look at it, and I thought, actually, it does look like a fun game. And then when I bought it, I was like, wow, I've never been struck by an indie game so much.
Right.
It's a very simple game. I think they call it Metroidvania.
Yeah.
I played this on the Switch, and I found out a interesting fact. This did come out on multi-platforms, and it was sold on the Nintendo Switch more than 3 times what it did on Steam.
Cool.
Yeah, it's an impressive stat, isn't it? But it's a brilliant little game. It's quite stylistic. It's a Metroidvania game where sort of you're digging into caves, and it unravels this story. It's got a cool little setting that's quite unique, and it's pretty cheap. I think you can pick it up for just over a tenner, I think, these days. It's not too long. You get about 6 or 7 hours out of it. It's got a lot of replayability. It's sort of got end game that you have to unlock a completion for added. It's got sort of dungeon things you can do, but I'd recommend it to anyone, and it really took me by surprise. Like I say, just this song to get me interested, and then boom, I was considering it for a game of the year towards the end of the year, so definitely a big surprise.
Well, it's got some recognition at least. Will people have to have played the original SteamWorld Dig to get involved with this, or could they pick this one off the shelf and not worry too much about what had happened in the first one?
So as the game, it holds its own merit. I think you would be okay with it because it does give you a bit of a video in the beginning to explain.
Oh, okay.
But the story does continue from the first game.
Right,
so
okay.
I didn't know that, and then I think just as before it came out on Origin on PC, it was a free game, the first one, so I managed to do it, and that was only about 3 hours long, so I smashed that out in one evening. But yeah, I'd recommend playing the first one just to get a feel for it, and then you'll see how improved and how good number 2 is. The perfect sequel.
Perfect. Well, that's great to hear. So my biggest surprise is Life is Strange Beyond the Storm.
Ooh.
So, huge fan of the first series or season of that. I bloody loved that game. It was so good. It was just fantastic. But with Life is Strange Beyond the Storm, different developers, prequel, not the same voice actors or actresses. I just thought, this is going to shit all over the film. It's going to it's going to crap on all the good stuff they've done. I can't see how this can be any good. Who the hell are Deck 39? I'll look up their proper name and give them their credit in a minute. But who the hell are these guys? I know they can't help the fact they lost the voice actress because it was happening during the strikes that were taking place. And there's no kind of time mechanic in it. What is this going to be? Sorry, Deck 9 they're called, developers. But it really has been fantastic to play through. It's so well written, and just completely fleshes out the first season as well. Gives you some really interesting perspectives on what happened in that game, and kind of what when I knew this was making a real impact on me, or was when it was doing well, was when I'd started to regret decisions I'd made in the first season based on what had come before it in this prequel. I was like, shit, I wish I hadn't done that in the first game based on what I found out in this one. It's brilliant. It really is fantastic, and a complete and utter surprise because I had rock bottom expectations for this based on new developers and the other bits and pieces. So fantastic. If you were a fan of the first one, absolutely get Before the Storm. I think you'll enjoy it, and you'll end up loving it perhaps as much as the first one even. Same
question to you. Would I need to play the first one to play the second one? Does it give me an update, or would you?
I feel like you could get away with it, but because it's so narrative heavy, it's good to have that insight from the first one. And yeah, I'd recommend you do that. I mean, the first one's so cheap now anyway. I've seen it for £5 UK. It's been on PlayStation Plus. You can, you'll find it for a good price, and it's worth playing alone. But yeah, I think I would recommend playing that. I think you could get away with it, but you might miss some of the references. And this is one. I remember we were speaking in one of our groups in WhatsApp a few weeks ago, and I was asking the guys if in a film timeline, whether you watch the prequels first or whether you watch how they're developed. And this is a classic example of why it works so well to do it when they're released, because you get those callbacks in the prequel that are sort of planting seeds or setting up or referencing things from the first one. You're like, oh, that's really clever how they've tied that back in. If you come in just to the prequel, you'll miss some of that. Definitely for fans of the series, this is a must play. If you were put off by some of the things that I mentioned and weren't that interested because of those, then forget about it. Get the game and play it, because you'll enjoy it.
Yeah, cemented, done.
Cemented, done. Now, the one that got away, I like this one as well. I think this is a good category to have, because these are games that you've probably earmarked and then just run out of time. And with 2017 being such a bruising year in terms of quality releases, there was 10 I could have put on here. I'm not even joking. There were probably at least 10 games I could have put as the one that got away.
Easily.
But Mr. Adkins, the one that got away for you in 2017 was
a game we've mentioned before, how young Xbox didn't have much going for its first party games or its console owned exclusive games. But my pick for the one that got away is an Xbox exclusive game.
Yep.
And that is Cuphead.
Yep. Fantastically well received game.
Yeah. Got up there with Game of the Year awards, didn't it? And whatnots. But one I've been really eager to play. Sounds fucking hard, and I'm up for the challenge. But yeah, it just really got away. I think other games have taken over because I bought that console, Xbox One X, quite late. I sort of wanted the enhanced game, so I ended up buying a lot of them, when really I should have been focusing on Cuphead. Well,
if you look at the art style of Cuphead, nothing touches it. It's been pulled straight out of a cartoon. It's amazing what they've done with that game, and by all accounts, reading, and also Mr. Hall, who has played the game and got, he's put some hours into it. Fantastic game, very, very difficult, as we mentioned, but one that people should experience and get. So I think that's a valid choice for the one that got away.
Actually, I want to change my biggest surprise of the year.
Yeah,
Logan buying it. That was my biggest surprise. Logan buying Cuphead was the biggest surprise for me.
Did he actually buy it?
I thought so. Or was he share playing it or something?
I think he went round.
Oh, were they doing? It came up on his. I think it's on his achievements and stuff.
Oh well.
I thought
we'll have to ask him.
I knew he was playing co-op with Hall, wasn't he? So I wonder if it was couch co-op, or I've got a feeling that he did buy it.
Sure. I think it's there's couch co-op mode. I don't think you've got online co-op, but maybe he did get it on his own. But if he did, then that is a horrendous.
It is, isn't it? That's what I thought. I'll have to ask him. But yeah, definitely one we should both be getting and playing.
Yeah, I think that's one I definitely want to try and get hold of and do, or at least I don't know if I'll finish it in a timely manner because of the difficulty. But definitely one that I would love to give a go and get some good hours into.
Yep.
My one for the one that got away is Nier Automata.
Ooh.
So no excuse not to have played it, really. I'll tell you what, there is an excuse, because at the very beginning of the year we had Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah. I was an easily 40 to 50 hour game.
Yeah, easy. And then I think it was something ridiculous, like 10 days later, Zelda was out with the Switch. Another 50 plus hours.
Yeah, easy. 60 to 140.
And after that, which, I may slightly regret playing, Mass Effect Andromeda.
Yeah. So 3 heavy beasts.
There was no room for Nier. There was no room for it. But looking at the game, I really wanted to. I tried to play more games that I hadn't played before. I played Yakuza 0. I'd never touched a Yakuza game, and I enjoyed that. So that was sort of part of the plan to play stuff that I hadn't played before. Nier was on that list, and it's something I definitely want to correct in 2018. But critically acclaimed, the people are saying the story's incredible. It's Platinum Games. It's going to have good gameplay, good mechanics, solid. So I need to play that one.
Yeah.
And that's the one that got away from me, because I felt like it would have ticked so many boxes and would have been something new that I hadn't experienced before.
Yeah.
So foolish not to have.
Yeah. Do love them Platinum Games as well. They're bloody good company, they are.
Yeah. They make some fantastic games, and may they long continue making more titles like that. They churn them out as well. They're very busy. They've got different teams working on different pieces, but they don't half churn some stuff out.
They do, really, when you think about it. Got
very, very active.
The old Bayos coming out.
Yeah.
3 coming out, 2 on the Switch.
Exactly.
Make another Metal Gear, mate. Come on, get involved.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course. They've done Revengeance.
Yeah, which was a great game. Some people might say no, but loved it.
Yeah, get me some more of that. Getting a little bit negative before we get to the positive, but we're going to do the wooden spoon next.
Yep.
Worst game. This essentially boils down to, what was your wooden spoon for 2017?
This is difficult because I've chosen a game I've not even played, which shouldn't really be allowed. But I'm just trying to go through the games that I have played, and I can't pick one. I can't pick a wooden spoon, because I think the games that I have chosen to play this year have all been fantastic. So.
Well, this is one of the problems. So this is something that I will probably change for next year. Is do we be needing most disappointing and a wooden spoon?
Yes.
To me, it should be one and the same. I know they are different.
Yeah.
But it's sometimes hard to pick 2 games that you weren't that high on, because typically we're quite careful with what we pick. But yeah, I think maybe next year it might just be a wooden spoon, which can cater for a disappointing game. Right.
No, I'm going to change it. I've just had a little thought in my head. I did have down Mass Effect Andromeda, which I've never played, but I sort of looked into it a lot, and I get the sense that it would be my wooden spoon if I had played it. But I'm going to change that, and if I'm going to go for a game that I have played. Now, I did enjoy this game. Like I say, it's so hard to pick this because I did enjoy the games, but it's one game that I thought I'd play more, and I didn't. I played it for a set amount of hours, and I haven't picked it up since. And that is Tekken 7.
Cool. Yeah. Oh, you liked it.
Loved Tekken 7. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed playing the story mode that it did, and I played a little bit of online, but there's just some sick puppies on there, and I'm not good enough. You need to be playing that daily to even get half as good as that. So I sort of played it for about 15 hours, I think, and that was in the first sort of 3 weeks of it coming out, and it just got put down, and I haven't picked it up since it come out. So
bastards,
didn't have the legs for me.
No, but is that an effect from how good Injustice 2 was?
I think it might be, yeah. I think I've had a bit of a burnout from fighting games, because I had Street Fighter 5 last year, Mortal Kombat 10, then I bought the Street Fighter 2 game on Switch.
Surprised that didn't make it on the list.
Yeah, that could have been up there, but again, it's not been played. There's been, and then like I say, Injustice came out, and that wiped the floor with Tekken 7, in my opinion. Even though I'm a huge Tekken fan, I love Tekken. That's my OG fighter. Well, Street Fighter really, but I do have a big love for Tekken. And I think I was a bit sort of. And now, like, they've announced Street Fighter Arcade Edition. I'm just, after hearing what Marvel vs. Capcom was like, and I didn't buy that just because I was burnt out. I don't think I'll be getting arcade versions. I'm going to cool it down for fighters this year, I think. So, wooden spoon goes to Tekken 7, bless them. Even though I did enjoy it.
Well, sometimes that happens.
Yeah.
That's what happens in life. My wooden spoon, I'm wondering whether you can guess this based on the conversations that we've had.
I just
but it is going to unfortunately be Middle-earth Shadow of War.
Boom! No.
And a sickening betrayal of Adkins. So you're playing this game and are enjoying it from what I've gathered.
Yeah, I've not put a lot into it, to be fair. I think I've only stuck about 6 or 7 hours in. But I did enjoy the game, the first one. And I can see why it's very repetitive, and I can see why it would be your thing. So
it's my own fault though, because I knew that I played the first one.
Yeah.
So for all intent, I knew the DNA of this.
Yeah.
And yet, for some reason, I watched the review back that we did back in the day that I did.
Oh, right.
And gave it a bronze, and I'd kind of soured on the game in the latter parts of the game, and that is exactly what happened with Shadow of War. Again, started off, loved the first sort of 10 hours or so, and then once I got in the groove, and I was like, right, I don't care about the story they're trying to tell me. I quite enjoy the combat, but running around the world I found really boring and dull.
Yeah.
Like, there's not a lot of life to it. Is the way I'd say the open world. There's not, you can't really go out your way to explore and find little things. Like in Zelda, there's not a lot going on, but you can find surprises.
Yeah.
And if you go to something like Horizon or a GTA, the world's alive, and it was neither of those, so I wasn't happy with that. And yeah, the end game, I think's fucking disgrace.
Yeah, that's going to be the concern for me. I'm really concerned about that after hearing your thoughts on it, and that it doesn't.
I don't want to poison minds, but it really irked me because I tried it as well. I even tried to do some of it, and I looked up at how much work it is, and I thought, I can't. I can't do any more of this. I've got through the 3 acts of the story. I don't need to be doing this. There's no benefit of me doing this. And I think that, and this is where they were hoping to get the microtransaction sales.
Right, yeah.
And I think that's also what pissed me off a little bit as well. I was like, I can see how the game sort of changed slightly. And how they've made it more difficult to progress, and the temptation for people would be, I'll just buy a loot box or whatever.
Yeah.
You can do it without, I'm sure you can, but I was done at that point of investing time into it, and unfortunately had to ignore the end game after doing the 3 acts of the story, walk away from it, and unfortunately, it's a wooden spoon, but I hope you enjoy it more than I did. And I'll be interested to hear if you managed to get to the end at some point.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Your full thoughts.
I found there was an article on Kotaku that I was sort of reading a little bit into the other week, and it was talking about these big games like Shadow of War and the new Creed and that. And it was talking about playing a game over. These games seems to be better. The bloke was arguing that the games are better played over a longer period of time. Which I do wonder if it is. I think you can get burnt out quick when you're playing these games in sort of 2 week sessions. But
I believe that. Because it makes me. I kind of question sometimes reviews where they
go to these
criticize
events and stuff, don't they?
Yeah, and power it out in a weekend. I think, how can you have a balanced view of that game when that's all you've been consuming for 50 hours in the last 48 hours? I do think that definitely did not help, because this I kind of cleaned out in
it was quick, wasn't it?
10 days, 2 weeks.
Yeah, it was, and you stuck a good 40 hours out into it, didn't you, as well? Which is good. So, but like you say, it's not just that's the concern. So
it's strange because there's games that there's something that makes you want to play them, and I know that's when I'm enjoying it. And it happened with Wolfenstein 2. Probably the third session, I'd put in about 2 or 3 hours in the other 2 sessions. So I'd just sort of been doing one mission and going, just sort of looking for an excuse to get out sometimes.
Yeah.
You think, all right, I've done a little bit of progress on that, and then I put it in for the third session, and I was like, right, I've done this bit. I thought I'll play this little next bit, and then I'll come off it. And I've been on it for an hour and a half. Right. I think I ended the stream I was doing. And then I played it for another hour and a half, 2 hours. And then next day, put another 3 hours into it. Next day, put another 2. And I was immediately sort of hooked. And then that's what I kind of didn't have with Middle. I didn't have that hook or that want to. So, yeah, it depends. It's horses for courses.
Yeah.
and it wasn't something that I enjoyed the length of. I think if they just shaved 20-30% off of it, it wouldn't feel so bloated. But yeah, unfortunate for the boys there. But then again, at times I think not unfortunate because you put dirty microtransactions in there, you bastards.
Horrible pricks.
Most disappointing, Adkins. What we got here?
Difficult again. Another one I haven't played, so I'm gonna have a quick little think. I put down Marvel.
It can be the same game as what the Wooden Spoon, which would validate my point of combining the two for next year. But
just seeing if there is anything else. I put Marvel vs. Capcom, which I reckon probably would have been mine if I had played it. I think I was working on something where you was texting me asking for these, what's it called? So that's why I've not given you a correct answer. Right, so disappointment.
Live discussions.
I haven't really played enough of that. I suppose I'm going to give it to... I suppose I best give it to FIFA. Even though I'm just thinking for games that I've played, like I say, it's so hard. I can't pick a game that I've played this year as a disappointment.
Yeah,
they've all been absolute stellar games. No, actually, I'm not going to give it to FIFA. I'm enjoying FIFA. I'm going to give it to Street Fighter 2, the final chapter.
Right, yeah, it got panned by the critics.
Yeah, it was
being too expensive.
Yeah,
that was basically the reason why we're paying this amount for
a
20-year-old game.
Cards on the table. I did get it as a birthday present, so I didn't pay a penny for it. But if I had, then I would have been burnt out of paying nearly 30 quid for a 25-year-old game that's been slightly vamped up. I've played it for about. It came out April time, something like that, and I played it for about 3 hours. I think it just didn't. It's what it is. If you love Street Fighter, which I do, I enjoyed it. It's good, but it's nothing really new. It's just Street Fighter on the Switch, and I'll say unless you're a hardcore fan, you'll love it. If not, you'll play it and go, oh, it's cool, and then go, all right, anything next.
Yeah.
So
moving on.
Biggest disappointment: Street Fighter 2. The final chapter or something? No, something like
that. I can't remember what it's called now. A funny old name. But they introduced Evil Ken and Horrible Ryu, didn't they?
Evil Ryu and Violent Ken, wasn't it?
Violent Ken.
That's him. Ultimate, the final challengers, Ultra Street Fighter 2, the final challengers.
First person mode, didn't it?
First person, with motion controls that didn't fucking work at all. Absolute horseshit. So it gets my biggest disappointment.
Yeah, that's fair enough. My biggest disappointment is something that I was so hyped for. I just thought this everything I saw beforehand looked so good. The combat in it, I quite liked the story they were setting up. And I just thought this is going to be such a great game. It's a franchise I love.
Yep.
It can't be anything other than good. But unfortunately, Mass Effect Andromeda fell short and went to my most disappointing game.
Yeah.
And I'm not in the camp that most people were, that it was a really bad game that got really quite poorly received when it released. Perhaps rightly so. It wasn't in good shape, but there was a good game underneath it all. It's really annoying, this game, because they pushed the franchise forward in so many ways in terms of like the combat and how you can change your skills on the fly and choose different classes and have access to all these different powers and specials and stuff, and sort of mix and match and make your own soldier.
Yeah.
And it was fluid. The combat was really good. Being able to jump, the cover mechanics were good. Being able to implement all these specials and your party members, all this great stuff. They've moved that all forward, but then they just made a hash of basic things. Like, the game was too bloated. It had so many fetch quests and boring stuff to do. The story was okay, and the story in 1, 2, and 3 were easily the highlights.
Yeah.
And just for something that I enjoyed so much of, I was probably 100 hours combined into that franchise before this.
Yeah.
Andromeda was a disappointment for me. So
shame.
It is a shame.
Yeah.
It sounds like it was rushed out the door. I read the massive article. I think Kotaku did that as well. And they had spoken to sources with inside there and people who had worked on it. And
Didn't have to like rewrite most of it as well. Did they?
Yeah, what happened is they were using a different engine to start with,
Right.
and then EA's mandate across all their games, or their mainstream games, was everyone's got to use Frostbite,
Right.
but it wasn't really capable of, for an RPG with all these different tools. They had to pretty much rework the whole thing again, and didn't have enough time. And EA said, look, it's got to come out before the financial year. It dropped. That's why it was in a bit of a torrid state. But yeah, it wasn't carried out by the BioWare A team, as they're called. They're working on Anthem, so these guys had handled a lot of the DLC for the previous ones.
Right.
And like I said, they had some really interesting ideas, and they solved a lot of people's complaints, around the action, the combat.
Yeah.
But then just fell short in other areas and made a hash of it. And again, 50+ hours, real bloater. And it wears on you after time.
It's a shame. Definitely a shame. It's one that I wanted to pick up, but yeah, it's one that...
The annoying thing is that might kill the franchise off.
Yeah, hopefully.
There's DLC planned that they cancelled now. They're not doing any DLC for it. And I just worry that EA will go, that's a dead horse now.
Yeah, especially if this Anthem kicks off, like it sounds like it's going to. Could be the new Destiny.
I'm wondering whether the new Destiny doesn't exist anymore and it's the new PUBG you want to be chasing.
Yeah.
Like are people going to go towards that, pick up and play something that you can just grab and do rather than you have to sink a lot of time into Destiny, and Anthem, we don't know anything about it really, but comparisons are made. But if it's a similar sort of thing, I'm not sure whether people are going to be that committed to it. I'm wondering.
Be interesting to see, wouldn't it?
Definitely find out more this year.
Definitely.
Okay, top 3 personal picks for Game of the Year.
Boom.
Mr. Adkins, far away with your number 3.
So, going from the bottom up, numero 3 for me, I'm a poet, is Super Mario Odyssey.
Yeah.
Boom. We haven't really spoken about this game much today, but a phenomenal one. Every one of the Dimp gang that has a Switch bought it, didn't they?
Yeah,
I think
so.
They've all finished it now. Piper coming in at steady last there. But what a phenomenal game this is.
Absolutely.
If it wasn't for the other 2 excellent games, then it could have easily been Game of the Year, number 1. Probably will be a lot of people's Game of the Year, I reckon. It was just a sweet and tightly knitted, polished Mario game.
Yeah.
My runner-up for Game of the Year that wasn't released this year was actually Mario Galaxy.
Oh, okay.
So again, having the build up to the Switch, I played that this year, and loved that game and thought, wow, what a fantastic game. But I thought this one was better. I thought Odyssey was a brilliant game. There was nostalgia. It had it all really. It was a perfect platformer, and the story was interesting and standard. You had standard stuff, and just all round perfect game.
Yeah, it was. Can't agree more. Fantastic game, and something that I enjoyed thoroughly, and I'm planning to enjoy more of in 2018 because I still got to get those moons. I've still got more moons to get.
That end game.
I quite like the structure. I think
brilliant.
It's interesting the way to do it. My third pick is, and this I really struggled with this, like nothing you would believe. I really could not decide between 2 and 3. It was I had a clear one, but 2 and 3 I was struggling with. But in the end, 3 I've given to Horizon Zero Dawn.
Boom.
Fantastic new IP and something that could have appeared on a biggest surprise list because I was not convinced that Guerrilla Games could produce anything of note or anything that would be, Game of the Year quality. They smashed it out of the bloody park.
Definitely.
It looks so good. I went and switched it on literally 4 or 5 days ago to just sort of have a little wander around and get to grips with it again. It's just gorgeous. Gorgeous. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
It's even on. I played it on 1080p earlier this year, and
Yeah.
I was like, this is amazing for a game of that scope to be that beautiful is an achievement in itself.
Yeah.
And it's got a fantastic story to go through, which you don't always get in an open world game. It's tough to get a good engaging story. Combat and mechanics of the gameplay, I think, we're out of this world. I think that's really impressive what they've done with the design of the enemies and how you engage with them, for combat, and all the different tools that you're given at your disposal.
Yeah.
And not to mention, it's got all the great kind of open world tropes of collectibles and other bits and pieces for you to do, side quests. Great game.
Perfect.
Great game.
Yeah, big fan of that one.
Really pleased with that. So,
Boom.
we actually share number 2.
Right.
So, minor spoiler for you, because you obviously know you've picked.
Yep.
But do you want to reveal what our number 2 pick for Game of the Year is?
Number 2 pick for Game of the Year goes to The Legend of Zelda. Breath of the Wild. Now, this is only my number 2 pick. Well, it might not be. It could be one. But the reason I've done this is because we've explained it was the best year in gaming. Yeah. So a lot of the games that I played didn't get finished. And unfortunately, this is one that I still haven't finished. So for that reason,
got enough time, haven't you?
I think I'm around 40 hours, I think. So I could have done it by now, but it's just one of those games where you just get lost every time you play it. You just get sidetracked, and I feel I've played enough to give it an opinion.
Yeah. You don't no reason to finish the game.
No.
If you've played enough and you're praising it for that, then
definitely,
by all means, it deserves to be here.
So it's going to be my number 2, just because my number 1 I enjoyed more. But number 2 is definitely Breath of the Wild, a new take on the franchise. A lot of people were concerned about it. Sort of they've moved away from these set dungeons that they've had the same sort of system going through. So we're now on to shrines, which I think they're brilliant. They're excellent fun, and just a game you can. It seeps style. It seeps great story. It's little things for everyone, and then it's just the minor detail, like just little things like when he shivers and you get cold, or if you go in the sun, and the physics in the game just it's ridiculous how much sort of attention to details in this game.
Everything works like you'd expect. When you throw something and it hits something else, it all acts and reacts exactly how you anticipated and interacts. It's a marvel on that front. And I played this evening. I put it on about 6:30, and I didn't get off it till 10. And I went, whoops. that was by accident. I've restarted it. I want to play through it again and play with some of the DLC in it, and I was still on the opening bit, the Great Plateau. I was just on there, roaring around on there. And I played 55 hours the first run, and I found new things out just on the Great Plateau that I didn't find the first time round. It's incredible, isn't it? Yeah, but it's one of those games where if you go off somewhere to not off the beaten path, you're nearly always rewarded with something. Something is always there. They've just got a really good knack of doing that, of making you feel smart as a gamer as well when you complete a shrine, or you complete the dungeon, or you complete a divine beast. Gives you that kind of satisfaction that you've achieved something as well. Superb. And definitely any other year it's probably number 1. In fact, all 3 of these games I think we discussed, and I think we'd agree any other year they're probably taking the title. 1,000,000%. It's been that good. Been that good. One question for you, actually: do you prefer this structure, or do you like the Twilight Princess structure that you'd played earlier in the year? Good question. Stumped it. I really has. I like the idea of open worldness and the pick up and play thing, but I found having a linear path in the old ones, so it still was considered kind of open world, but it was very linear in what you had to do. You had an end goal. With the new one, you can sort of go around and do it differently. You can choose what to do at any given time.
Whereas on the old ones, it was boom, you had one mission, that's what you go and do. And it made me, with that, I know what's up ahead and going, so I'm going, bosh, right, I've got to do this.
Yes.
Whereas with the new one, I'm sort of all like, I keep getting lost because I don't really know what I'm meant to be doing half the time. I'm sort of like, right, I'll just go and do this bit here.
Yeah.
So in that terms, I like being, I'm not really much of a leader. I like being told what to do. So I'll go there. But yeah, that's taking nothing away. So I'll probably say personally, I like the old way, but I do think the new way is good and a nice fresh take.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, Mr. Adkins, your game of the year for 2017, what is it?
Marvel versus Capcom Infinite.
Tekken 7.
Despite what I said earlier. No, it's going to be for me Horizon Zero Dawn.
Woohoo!
Mirroring what you said. The only reason...
Bloody games.
Guerrilla Games, yeah. It's one, like I say, I can't really talk much about the story of Zelda because I haven't finished it. So when I think of Horizon Zero Dawn as a whole package, I think even the story was gripping to me. I enjoyed the characters, I warmed to them.
Yeah.
I was interested about the world. I wanted to know more about the world. I could platinum the game on PlayStation 4 Pro. I just wanted to do everything it offered. I love that game. It's a wicked, and like yourself, I was like, well, listen, look at their pedigree. They've Killzone, average first-person shooters. They're now delving into third-person. This could be an absolute disaster. Yeah. And then, we booted it up on our fresh new PlayStation 4 Pros, and I was like, God damn, that is gaming porn right there. So, as an all-round package, a must-play for everyone. So, it gets my game of the year. Yeah,
it deserves it. You know, it's a fantastic game, like I said earlier. And, you know, one thing that it also seems to have done is introduce almost like a new mascot for Sony in Aloy.
Yeah.
Like, she's very, very popular, especially amongst female members of the community. And it's always good when games can do that, when they can, because we do get a lot of sequels, we do get a lot of remasters, we do get a lot of remakes, we do get a lot of the same. Just Zelda, what's this? The 8th, 9th, 10th Zelda we've had, great game, but we've had all this, you know, previously. But to have something completely and utterly new, like fresh
off the boat,
and to be that good is an achievement in itself. So
hats off to
fantastic.
Guerrilla.
Exactly. So my game of the year for 2017 was Super Mario Odyssey.
Boom.
I don't think I've had much. It's just such. It's the joy I have when I play this game. Like, every time I pick it up, I'm having fun. It's, you know, you're not going to get bogged down in the story there.
Nah.
Just playing the game moment to moment, collecting the moon, finding the moon, fiddling around the controls. It just feels like you're at one with everything in the game. Like, everything's designed in a set way and it works perfectly. And it's quite an open game as well. You are free to go off and do as you please. There's probably like one quest per map where you've got to go and do to move the world along. But there's so much variety in Odyssey. There's the cappy mechanic, I think, is fantastic. It replaces the powers that we'd had previously. But I think the experimentation, the flexibility the hat gives you outweighs that. Being able to control all these different enemies that previously had always been enemies, you're like, oh, bloody annoying little bastards. Now you can sympathise them, become one of them, and use them to your advantage. And again, every time you throw that cap on something and it moves, it feels perfect. Like it's completely in tune with you as a player, and it just felt like one of the only games that I've played in recent times where, or maybe ever even, where it feels like the developer's vision has been 100% fulfilled with this. Like, you can tell exactly what they were trying to do and they've just executed it perfectly, and it's fantastic. Soundtrack's amazing.
Perfect, isn't it?
Mechanics are amazing. The worlds are amazing. Giving Mario stupid outfits. Why am I getting snarled up in that? But I wanted it. I wanted every outfit in the game.
That is it, isn't it? Yeah, you're just sitting there thinking it's menial tasks that you would normally, any other game you wouldn't be interested in, but because this is such a cool game, a fun game, you just want more of it, and it's brilliant. It is a solid game with a great soundtrack. That fucking theme tune gets stuck in your head all day long, and it's happy. It's just one of those games where you can't play with it without smiling at some point. There's certain levels in the game and little cutscene clips, and you watch it and it just puts a grin on your face. You're like, this is awesome. This is such a feel-good game. Anyone that's depressed should play this game.
Absolutely. Honestly, it's just such a joyful game, and hats off, Nintendo. You've had a great year, and outdone yourselves really with the Switch and Zelda, and for me personally, Mario Odyssey. So, hats off to you guys. It's been a great year.
Yep.
What a note to end the personal picks on. So that's all of ours that we've gone through. One thing left to do, and that's to reveal what the collective Dimp Digital team members thought and how the scores added up. So,
how many did we have in the end as a collective?
What people?
Yeah.
Let me just do a very quick count up. I think we polled 11 people in total.
So there we go.
So a good selection there. There are a couple of tiebreakers, so we're going to have to deliberate those live and figure out which one we're going to give it to.
Yeah.
So we will do that in course. So let's go through. Let's do it in the order we did it in. Best game not released this year.
Yeah.
Had all sorts of
I was going to say
nominations for this.
It's going to be a difficult one to sort of give an award to, isn't it? Because
it could be anything. You had Twilight Princess.
I can't imagine. I can't imagine anyone else in the Dim team playing that last year.
No, but we did actually get a clear winner in this one.
Right.
And to say a clear winner, it got 2 votes. So everyone else was unique other than that. But it was Overwatch.
Right. Yeah.
So Overwatch picked up a second vote other than mine and managed to take the championship. So the best game not released in 2017 was Overwatch.
That's a deserved winner, to be fair. Great.
Yeah. And it's kind of like mimicking the ongoing game award that's appeared in Game Awards, and that's one of them that has been ongoing.
Yeah. We jumped on not long ago. Halloween, did we? We did some.
Oh yeah, cool. We went back to it.
Yeah, just had a little go, and there's new characters that we've not really delved into. You get these little videos that everyone loves.
My Mercy skin that I was waiting for.
Yeah, that's it.
To save up for that. I was well happy. Yeah.
Great.
It's definitely something that I think we'll revisit again.
Yeah, we've already been talking about, haven't they?
Yeah, it looks like that's gonna happen as well. I was tempted to put on there Destiny, the first one, because we played the collection sort of back end of December, but then completed the final raid this year in 2017. So I keep saying this year, but it's not, is it? It's 2018 now. But in the end, I felt like Overwatch was just a bit stronger.
Yeah.
In that it got us all together regularly playing like as a 6, not a 3.
No.
Which was good.
No, definitely.
So, biggest surprise we've got next. There is a 3-way tie here.
Ooh, crikey.
And there's one that I definitely want to disclude, and I'll be interested to hear your stats on this. And the other 2, I'd be completely happy with either of those getting it. But the 3-way tie is between Horizon Zero Dawn, Cuphead, and Super Mario Odyssey.
Right.
Now, to me,
Super Mario, get rid of that.
Bin that. Thank you.
I'm glad we've done that. Right.
Get rid of that. So it comes down to what was a bigger surprise, do we believe, between Cuphead and Horizon Zero Dawn? I think they're both equally valid of getting the biggest surprise award. I'm half tempted, and this is just a personal thing, to say Horizon, only because like we said earlier, what were Guerrilla playing at, doing Killzone and then doing a open world game with robot dinosaurs that plays really well.
It's funny.
Cuphead looked good, I think, from the outset.
Yeah, it's funny because I was going to say I think we should pick Cuphead as the winner, but thinking about before, remember last year when I was on Team Supreme, who won the Game Fix. My top pick was Cuphead, so I knew it was going to do well. So in that sense, it wasn't a surprise. So yeah, for that reason, we'll go with Horizon Zero Dawn, because, like we just mentioned, looking at the pedigree, they've done average Killzone games.
Yeah,
wasn't the best pedigree, and then it was a big surprise to everyone. I think most people enjoyed it, apart from Ben.
yeah, that's true. I think that's a valid point there. And also it's made the top 3 of our personal picks. So it's obviously it's climbed higher than what Cuphead has. In that sense, the one that got away.
Ooh.
So this is another one that's got a tie that we need to get rid of. It's between Call of Duty World War II.
Okay.
And again, Horizon Zero Dawn has appeared again. So people are still sniffing. They've heard the good vibes of Horizon and want a piece of the action.
Right. Okay. So they're both 2 games that I wanted to play. I did play Horizon, obviously, but I didn't play World of War. Did you? World War 2, sorry. Did you?
Yeah. No.
So, for that fact, I think we should pick World War 2.
Give it them, should we?
Give it them.
Might get more views if I put that.
Exactly, that'll get us the views. Put COD on there.
COD on the title. COD wins
awards, yeah. So yeah, it looked interesting. There's a few people that got it for Christmas and are starting to play it. So there's a bit of a feel for jumping on. Just so many good games come out, so it got pushed back. But I'd like to play the story. It looked interesting. With the release of that Dunkirk, I was in a bit of a World War II hype. So if it had come out just after then, it might have got bought, but I'd moved on to my second phase by then, so I didn't get the light of day. But I think it's something that people would want to play, but it got away. So
absolutely.
If you agree, we'll give that award to COD World War 2.
Yeah, absolutely. So the one that got away will go to Call of Duty World War 2, selling like gangbusters.
Cool.
I've read that they're absolutely ripping it up. So the World War 2, going back to that, has really paid off.
Boots on the ground, they call it.
Boots on the ground. Like, man, if I have to do that again, I'm going to punch someone, I think. Okay, Wooden Spoon, unbelievably, has a tie.
Wow.
And it's not even between 2 or 3. Some people abstained from this one.
Right.
So we didn't get the full kind of listing of what some people just didn't want to. I don't know why they didn't.
It's hard to. It's because you pick games you know you're going to enjoy, so it's hard to, unless you're buying like us, where we're buying sort of new releases weekly and monthly, you are going to end up with a shitter. But a lot of people don't buy games as big as much as us, so they only pick good games. So it's hard, isn't it?
Yeah, it is tricky. So these are all the nominations. We're going to have to choose. I've earmarked one already.
See if I can remember.
But let's see if you can figure it out. But Wooden Spoon, we've got Middle Earth: Shadow of War, obviously my one.
Yeah.
1-2 Switch.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
For Honor.
For Honor. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Layton's Mystery Journey.
Never heard of it.
No. Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Okay.
Ukulele.
Oh.
Farpoint. Wonder who that
Oh
was.
yeah.
Biff.
Yeah.
FIFA 18.
Okay.
And then your late entry of Tekken 7.
Tekken 7.
So actually reading through that again, there's two. There's 2 that I would look at and say,
right,
out of all of them,
yeah,
you deserve a Wooden Spoon based on what I have seen, played, and read about.
Right. Would your 2 be Shadow of War? Obviously.
Shadow of War is not on there.
Isn't it?
So it's safe. It's safe.
Interesting. Yeah. Would it be 1-2 Switch?
That's one of them, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, see, that would have been one I would have picked.
Should have been packed in, you prats. That's the one missed there. Pack that in with the Switch. Don't make me pay 40 UK pounds for that.
That was the thing. It was the price of it. If it was 15 quid, it might have got a sniff. But
perfect.
Still, £15 for a couple of meals. Yeah. Chuck it in with like the fucking Wii Sports and the Nintendo bollocks you got with the Wii U that no one played.
Idiots. The only thing they've done wrong all year, I think.
So the other ones, I've heard that For Honor's a bit of a meh, but
Yeah.
a lot of them games I haven't played. One of them I've never even heard of. So
No.
we've both agreed on 1-2 Switch. What's your
Yeah.
other
The only other one I want to present, and I did play the beta of this.
Yep.
And it's come with its, baggage. I feel this could be the one, perhaps, based on the stir it's caused. But Battlefront 2,
Right, yeah.
based on what has happened with that,
Yeah.
it's out of those
Yeah,
two
that's
for
true.
me.
I suppose I've never really heard anyone saying 1-2 Switch is a disappointment. I mean, if you can accept how much you're paying for it, I don't think people have bought it going in thinking they're getting a 40-hour campaign. They know what they're getting. So in that sense, then yeah, people thought they knew what they were getting with Battlefront. So that would probably be more of a worthy winner.
Should we jump on the hype train then
Do
and just
it.
condemn microtransactions to hell?
Fucking stick the stake into their heart and make sure they don't bring them cunts to die ever again. Yeah. So
Wooden Spoon, Star Wars Battlefront 2. Well done, Ian. You've picked up a fantastic
we've got COD
award.
and Star Wars in the title. This is going to be reaping views.
I will, yeah. Make sure to definitely name check those. Absolutely. Last one before we do the big one. Biggest disappointment. We've got a clear winner for this one.
Yep.
And it comes out to Destiny 2.
Oh, I did wonder about that.
The thing is, we've got to remember in the group, we've got two Uber fans in Hall and Destiny Dave, who, extremely hard to please in some areas. And, we know our boy Salmon, who had picked it up on PC, being a master race guy. Yeah. He got bored of it as well after a while.
Didn't he? Biff, God, I've never seen a man pick up a game, smash it out, and get bored so quick before.
He finished the campaign.
He smashed it, didn't he? Got to a decent light level as well, and I'm thinking, he's actually going to go on this. And then the next day, he's like, nah, I'm bored of it. It's like, wow, that was quick. Yeah, I did think about it. I enjoyed my time with it. But yeah, it hasn't had the legs of the same as Destiny 1 to me. Destiny 1, like we were still playing it a year after. I wanted to go back and do some of the raids and stuff that I missed. Yeah. Whereas this, I'll play the new stuff, but I'm not overly hyped about it, to be honest.
No. Here's my viewpoint on it. How much legs do people want?
Well, that's the trouble in it, yeah.
Were expectations too high? As someone who played... they played the first one via the collection. Didn't like vanilla game, but played all the expansions once they were out through that collection. I enjoyed it, but I was never like, like we know today that's pretty much his go-to game. Most of the year he's playing Destiny 2 or some form of Destiny. He's even got it on PC, Xbox One, and PS4. A real fan of it there. So. I don't know. I guess if you're that big a fan, there's problems with it, and you're expecting to plunge your life or your gaming life into it, and it doesn't deliver, you're going to be a bit cut up about it, I guess. And I think I can see where they've come from and why that has picked up the awards, because I think as time's gone on, and with all these stories coming about them capping the XP and making it hard for you to level up, I think it's just started to sour people as time's gone on. Because I think when it first released, we were all quite happy. Like, look, campaign's improved, the new locations are good. But then as you got to the end game, when you had to grind for those powerful engrams, and there's only 5 you could do a week, that's when I think people figured out that the legs might not be there. But
that's true. Yeah, very true. But
we're all going to go back and do the raid next week, so it can't be
that's
bad.
True. No,
disappointment doesn't mean bad.
No, that's right. Yeah, I enjoyed my time with it. They didn't get a nod from me, but I can see why people would have put it. I can see, but so you're going to give it to it? Give it?
Destiny 2's that's got.
That won the vote anyway. Right, I see.
Outright winner. We couldn't change that if we wanted.
So that is locked in by the voters.
Yeah.
So there we go. So we've got now Destiny, COD, and
Battlefront 2,
all with rewards.
We're hitting. We just need PUBG. How are we going to?
Oh yeah.
Best newcomer, PUBG. To be honest, I might give that to Horizon still. here we go then. So the top 3 for the collective game of the year. So this is the big one. There was a tie for second and third place.
Right.
So in this case, there is a way, because we're asking for 3 picks. There is a way for us to mathematically kind of work out the game that should be above one another. And that's how many votes did each of that game get for number 1. So how many people did they put down X game as game of the year? And the one that had more overall will take the second place. So based on that, third place in Dimp Digital's 2017 Game of the Year Awards is Super Mario Odyssey.
Ooh, I thought that might have been higher.
Yeah, obviously it was my number 1 pick.
It was my number 3. It was as well.
It was your number 3. It picked up a lot of points, but it didn't get many Game of the Year awards. It's only me and one other that put it as number 1.
Okay.
So, although it scored the same as the next game that we're going to talk about, it didn't have enough Game of the Year outright awards, so it takes a third place. Still, a stellar title and deserving to be in the top 3. Second place goes to Horizon Zero Dawn.
Ooh.
So that picked up I think 3 or 4 Game of the Year awards, but then was omitted completely off other lists, so it kind of lost out there.
Okay.
Which stopped it from pushing on to be first, but it picked up more Game of the Year awards than Odyssey from individuals, so it takes the second place as we discussed. Fantastic game, Guerrilla Games, well done. I think we can all guess what Game of the Year will be, but we'll announce it anyway. So.
Marvel, but no.
Dimp Digital's official Game of the Year for 2017 is The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild.
Locked in.
Yeah, scoring a clean 6 points above the other, so that picked up multiple Game of the Year awards and was pretty much in nearly everyone's top 3 across the board. So it was always going to do well. Fantastic game, and one that the critics are all pretty much giving their Game of the Years to. One at the Game Awards. I personally preferred Odyssey, but you preferred Horizon Zero Dawn. But I think we can agree between the 3 of them, if you've got one of those 3 as your top,
Any of them,
you're not doing much wrong.
No, 3 absolute stellar games, and to get them all in 1 year, impressive. Just quickly,
Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild, fantastic. Well done.
Was there any funny additions that got into the top
nominations? So for Game of the Year, we had not really. I think Football Manager 2018. No,
did it? I wonder who put that in.
I wonder who put that in. He got 1 point. But that got in there. FIFA made its way in there. COD made its way in there. Neo got in there, which I was pleased with. Got 1 vote for, got a third place.
Nice.
Evil Within 2 popped up on other lists. Got a second place. Cuphead was lurking. Next one down, actually. So after that, so it went 19 points to Zelda, 13 to Horizon and Super Mario Odyssey. The next game down was 4. So it really was those 3. Yeah, a 9-point gap between the top 3 and the rest of the field. So they didn't stand a chance with those 3 juggernauts vying for the top 3. But there we have it then.
Done.
The Game of the Year awards done, and a review of 2017 done.
Excellent. What a year. Yeah, we said at the beginning, the best game year. The best year to be a gamer. Bring on 2018. Let's have it large.
Yeah, we'll be there every half step of the way. Maybe not every step of the way. We'll be lurking, giving our opinions and criticising and praising what we feel needs to be. But I think we're done.
Yeah.
That's a nice introduction to 2018, looking back on 2017. As you said, bring on 2018 because we're looking forward to it. And don't forget, the fantasy gaming draft will be taking place very soon, so you can see that go up on the YouTube channel and also on the podcast feed if you're subscribed to that. So look out for that. It's going to be some slight minor changes made from last year's one, so they'll all be explained. But and we'll be cracking on with our reviews. Lots of stuff from last year that I've finished and not had time to review, so you'll be seeing a few of those popping up probably in January. But one last thing that we will be doing is doing our most anticipated games for 2018 as well, so look forward to that as well. But Mr. Adkins, thanks for joining me on this late night edition and long edition of Idle Game Chat.
You weren't joking when you said 2:10 minimum.
Well, honestly, I didn't think it would go that long.
Loving
but
it.
The wafflers.
It's all good. It's all good waffle. I like it.
Absolutely, it's going to be a bitch to cut. Put all the bloody video over it. But it'll be worth it. Anyway, nothing more for us to say apart from thanks for your time and ta-da.